giving you a look. Don't mind these little ends. I'm only gonna wear this for a minute because it's really warm. And I turned my AC off to film, so, because it's so loud. Anyway, this is my Murder of Crows, which I'm not presenting in the best way. I'm wearing workout clothes and also not showing you a lot, but I have photos that are a little better and show you the whole thing. I really thought I had woven in my end, but I haven't. So I had to just kind of set it on hold because I couldn't really wear it or show it. I didn't want to wear it until I had good photos, and Dawn released the pattern and it took a while for her to release it. So Dawn Barker, Murder of Crows sweater. This is one of her AP or assigned pooling designs, and it took 3 skeins. So this isn't, it fits and everything. I actually did everything to the pattern measurements. I could go an inch longer on my arms because I have, I think, longer arms, and I have a longer torso. I did lengthen the torso a little, just a tiny bit, but I had a swatch and a little ball of yarn left. It's definitely enough to do these arms, and I might actually, if I do it, rip back a bit and eliminate the last few decreases, because I personally don't like an arm that fits the whole way down. I'm just, you know, I've told you, I freak out when I feel too confined. But look at 3 skeins. I don't remember which size I did, so I'm going to I'll just put it on the screen, the details. And I have done already a blog post with all the details, and there's better photos like of me, like standing maybe from a distance. You can kind of see how it fits. But I really loved this. I did not think I would catch her testing call because I'm not online as much now and not on Instagram as much, but I did. And so it was 1 skein of this AP colorway, which is kind of a mixture of her Serenade and Steadfast. And then 2 skeins of the Steadfast, which is the solid dark. And to me, it reads as navy to my eyes, but this is actually a charcoal color. For some reason, I see it as a really dark navy. But I love this. I love this pattern. If you don't know, I've talked about it. I've talked about her AP designs before, and then I think in the last episode, I just showed you a flash of the sweater because she hadn't released it yet. It's a variegated yarn, and every time you reach the contrast color, or if it has multiple colors in it, the contrast color of your choice, you work a different sort of stitch. And I think Dawn came up with this originally to deal with her own variegated stash. Like, how can I use these variegated yarns for something other than socks? How can I make pooling a feature rather than an impediment that I have to work around? And she started playing around with it, and then I think she's now like dyeing specifically for certain effects with her assigned pooling. So do you hear that? That's my cat snoring. It sounded like someone crying far away, but no, she's right by me snoring. Okay, sorry. She's been playing around with how she dyes and the different patterns. She's got 2 or 3, she's got at least 1 more AP sweater design in the works to be released, and Floriculture already came out, which has a certain kind of stitch, like sometimes it's a little bobble or a different, it's just interesting textural stitch, but it also includes striping with 2 variegated colorways. Really, really neat. And I think I talked to you about that in another episode. I think I'll link all the ones where I talk about Dawn's designs, but Dawn is the dyer behind Barker Wool, and I just can't recommend this sweater pattern enough. I will say, for the size I knit, I wouldn't have minded getting 1 more of the Steadfast, just so I could make my sleeves looser all the way down, which is my own particular style, like comfort. Most people like a fitted sleeve that decreases with the body. And I would have made it longer. And I wouldn't mind, because I do like a longer sweater. I just like a longer sweater. I have a long torso. I always add at least an inch to things, but often 2 inches. And I couldn't do that, a full 2 inches plus the sleeves the length I want. And like I said, I have enough yarn to, these sleeves fit, but to have them the length I would like, I'm gonna have to use my leftovers and my swatch, but it is enough. 3 skeins, it's just amazing. And everyone who tested our pooling, where our stitches worked up was different. Like some of them, see where it bunches up in some places? Some people had lots of those bunched clusters, and some had them completely evenly spaced. I feel like mine actually came out pretty evenly spaced all over. And then each of us had a different way we handled it. Like, do we start the bauble slightly before the color change or slightly after? And Dawn had a lot of great ideas for dealing with pooling issues if you're not quite into the way it's pooling, and or dealing with how you alternate skeins. And I think all of that is in the final pattern, like helical knitting, all of it. So most of her patterns I find have a lot of extra info in with them, tutorial type info. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about her design. But I am going to take it off because I'm really hot. Sorry. So one last look. Ooh, and now you can really see how many ends I had. So does this look dark gray to you, or does this read as a really, really dark blue color? I'm curious what you think. Ooh, I love this color. But there's a lot of variations of how people knit them, so I encourage you to go look at the pattern, the Ravelry, or on Instagram under the Murder of Crows sweater hashtag, or on Ravelry's like projects. Okay, so I have been really struggling to find time to post these, and I think Amanda asked a while back if I would show you around my house, and I thought, well, let me do that. I got a new iPhone. I thought the camera's a little better. Let's try it. And I took one afternoon when my husband wasn't home, and I went all around my house just showing things we've made, little DIYs. And then like I can get really stuck on saying, oh, this rock came from, and oh, I found this feather on the ground, and you know, lots of little asides. And it was so poor quality. I just said, screw that. I'm not putting that on YouTube. I just couldn't do it. So I just today kind of quickly went around the house, and I'm using a lens that I got for taking interior photos for real estate sales, and hopefully it'll come out good. It looked okay from what I could see. It's very difficult though for me to tell on a small screen how things will look when they're on the computer. But anyway, it's like me welcoming you into my home and showing you some of my little things from my family members and stuff we've made, and yeah, basically that, my pets. So I have struggled to find time to podcast or do anything like that because I have been going through like licensing school. Really, I've had the course for a long time, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. I can better assist my husband that way, and I've been cramming. Plus doing some photos of homes, and which is more complicated than I thought it would be, and working on website stuff. So I've just been learning a lot of new things. And I think in my last episode, I was rewatching it to remember what I even talked about. I think I said I was doing stuff on open source. I'm not code writing. That was just probably lodged in my head from something I was reading. I can't even think of what I was trying to talk about. Oh, I think it was something for content writing, like it's a program. some sort of application for content writing that constantly lets you know SEO scores and keywords and stuff like that, which is helpful for a business, but it's just everything I detest. So anyway, I've been learning though a lot of new things and trying to do a lot of stuff. Doing podcasting has been a struggle to find the time to do it, but I had a minute today and I really wanted to talk with you and show you the Murder of Crow sweater. I also have one other finished sweater and one almost finished that I want to I'll show you my guilloche next time. What I have done is probably a foolish thing. If I am so pressed for time, why am I joining knit-alongs? I did the Spring League hoodie by Alexandra Tabel because she did her League knit-along or League series knit-along, and the Spring League was a sleeveless hoodie. And I mean, I'm right at the end. I finished the casing and now all I have to do is make my drawstring. I just used some Stash. This is all tangled. It was tangled when I got it. I just used some Stash to make this. It looks just like a sweatshirt drawstring. I'm almost to the end of that. See how neat? And then I will seam the drawstring casing down and I'm ready to go. I think I have, well, no. I thought I had all of the ends woven in. I like this because there is no seaming to it rolls under and it looks fine. And this is a really fun top. I actually it was very easy in the car or watching a TV show kind of knitting. I did it in the caper colorway of Alexandra's Color Theory yarn. That is completely acrylic. It's nice and soft. I made a baby blanket. I never showed you guys, but I did show you a picture of part of it. Let me just say, in the last 2 weeks, we went on a retreat with our church and I saw that baby blanket being used. I saw the little stroller, and then I saw that blanket laid over the baby and little baby hands like working and, you know, kind of grabbing at it. And I was like, oh, it made my heart feel so good to see him get it being used. It made me feel good. So the caper colorway is one that I used for that baby blanket, and I did a navy color too. I wasn't sure, okay, it makes a soft blanket, but I wasn't sure how well it would wear. So I've heard from another friend online that Basic Stitch Lion brand acrylic, the no pill kind, actually really and truly doesn't pill. But I was hesitant to use it for a baby blanket because I thought it might be just a little itchy, scratchy, like, you know, the acrylic blankets we had when we were young. But I got some on sale from Lion brand. I want to make a blanket that's got like some of these colors here in it for, let me see if I can, no. Oh yeah, here we go. Like it's got a little bit of pink and brown and green in it for this room as a throw. And I thought, well, let me just try it because I had, you know, points and it was like 40% off, and I don't have it, it's upstairs, and I'm just not gonna, if I go up to get it, I'll end up having to do something else. So I'll show you a picture of the yarn colors here. It really felt soft when I got it in the mail. And this blanket is kind of a retro looking. They have a kit on Lion brand. I think I did get the kit. Yes, I got the kit and I just changed the colors in it. I've thought before of getting it, just getting random colors, but they had what I wanted. Katie did mention that her sunflower cardigan that I talked about in the last episode was knit all in acrylic. and it wasn't like fancy soft acrylic, but she likes it. It made a good fabric. And reading that is kind of what gave me the push, like, okay, this basic stitch no pill is on sale. I'm gonna get that for a blanket, because a blanket's worth is just a bigger like investment. Like if I was just at Joann and wanted to grab a couple of skeins of Lion Brand, it's no big deal. But a blanket's worth is a little more. I'm just not gonna buy a blanket's worth of yarn unless it's 40% off. Plus I had a $10 coupon, so. And it's my Christmas present to me and my husband, though it will not be done by Christmas. I also told you I was joining 2 sweater classes. Well, I haven't really done the work in one yet. I've just been watching on Dawa. I've been watching the videos. I haven't started, but I love it because Andawa calls for like 6 swatches and we're not doing any swatching. And I think it's a really neat, ingenious way to do it. I'm doing it with Allison DeKaisen and the Laura and Allison party, and I'm enjoying the classes. Let me show you the yarn. So this is what I'll be using for Andawa. I may have shown you this the last time. It's Cascade 220 Heather's Turtle. I got this a long time ago. I'm not sure what I was thinking of making it into. It's Old Stash though. I felt really good about using Old Stash. So since I am doing like sweater classes, and I thought, you know, I don't really need to do a sweater class. I've been knitting a long time, but I've already learned a lot of things and definitely got the confidence. You remember I asked you guys what you thought about the colors for my Illuminate. I've started on it and now everything is tangled. I went ahead and I'm using sun-soaked yarns. It's like a chocolate fluff, I think is the color. This is all I have right now. I've done my short row shaping of the back and I'm using U-Hue's Chocolate. And then these 2 were a set that came, they're sport weight, but oh, they're just very close to fingering weight. It's a set called Truffle from the Wicked Knitta. And so these are very similar to colors I showed you the last time, but these were easy to find. The others were not in my like pile of yarn. So I think these look really great together, and I knit a swatch, but I have undone the swatch, taken it apart just in case I don't want to run short on any yarn. I don't save fingering weight swatches. I do save DK up to Erin for a Franken blanket I'm going to make one day. But anyway, so I've started and this goes really well. I think it pairs well with all of these. And I think if I don't like the way it looks with the, this is the same thing. It's just, I have to hold 2 strands together. If I don't like the way it looks with the lighter color, if it seems to blend too much, I can always just cut the yarn and bring in a darker one. These don't have to have like a specified number of rows. I do one color and then move on to the next, because spin cycle doesn't really work that way. And that is what I'm mimicking that Andrea Mowry used in Illuminate to begin with. So I'm enjoying that. And like I said, I'm enjoying learning how I'm going to do the swatch-free Andawa. And I've been doing my measurements and I'm ready to start. I did notice in Illuminate, it's really great. It's the whatever you want kind of pattern class, because you don't have to use any particular weight of yarn. You can do whatever you want. So I think it calls for sport weight, but I'm using fingering and sport. Some people might be using DK. We're all over the place. And just going by our swatches and just doing the numbers and figuring out what works for us. And I realized I haven't really measured myself in a while. My bust size is not exactly what I thought it was. It's like an inch larger, and I felt like a lot of yoke sweaters just, I didn't like the way they fit in my arms, and now I'm thinking I was not maybe knitting the proper size. But also, I like the fact that we're tailoring these things to fit our bodies, each of us. And there's like worksheets and diagrams and stuff provided. Even if you're a seasoned knitter, I don't know, I'm really plugging the classes because I can see why people are so excited about them and doing them. I think Kendra, who's the Balance Game on YouTube, and maybe also that's her Instagram name, I think I saw that she was doing a vest or maybe a design your own sweater class like a year or so ago. And that's what made me realize, oh, these classes are not just local, they're for anyone. And I've been watching them and thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't spend the money, but I'm really glad I did these. And it's motivating me to sit down and make time for knitting because things have been very busy lately for me, more than I really want them to be, and I just needed to take a step back. So Sunday, all I did was catch up on filling in my worksheets and figuring out what I'm gonna do and getting caught up on one sweater. However, this one isn't a class, it's just a knit along with that group. They're doing Leilano. I think that's how you say it, Leilano. Leelanau. And it's just a neat, very classic shaped sweater with little polka dots. It's like a color work sweater. And I was thinking, you know what? That would be something fun to just have going. I could just grab it. Probably, it's pretty straightforward, a pattern. I ought to try, maybe I have something in my stash, and I went looking for the right yardage, and I was looking for a certain patterns, kind of ginger type color, when a bag with this fell on me, and it was like it was meant to be, you know, the heavens open and I heard, oh, and this Valley Yarns Northampton fell on me, and it was just the right amount for the sweater. So the main color will be this blue, which is Ocean Heather, and it's a pretty dark blue. And then a skein of gray is all I'll need, because this is actually a really, this is the same kind of yardage as Patton's, maybe even a little more. So I know, why am I thinking, but there's no rush. I don't have to do any of these with anyone. The classes are recorded. I don't even go live for one of them, I can't. So I watch it after the fact, and if I finish them way after the group, then I do. But having a regular group would probably help me make time for it, and it's actually helped me to make time for doing something for myself, because I have not been enough lately. So, fun. I asked you guys about knit-alongs that you might be interested in. And a few of you responded. I think several of you like the color idea, like color of the year. Okay, but then I saw Pantone's color of the year. It's like digital lavender or something. It's like a light purple. I literally think the only yarn I have in that color, kind of it's gray with that in it, is what I'm knitting those Anne of Green Gables themed socks in. Then I thought, okay, I don't have anything in my stash, I don't think, that is that color anymore. I used to knit with it, and I do have things I previously made. So then I thought, okay, well, wait, Pantone's color of the year doesn't mean that much to me anyway. I don't get super excited about that, but I really do with like Benjamin Moore and Bear and Sherwin-Williams, their paint colors. Not that I'm going out to buy and, you know, paint something in my house because of the color of the year, but I just really like I get into waiting for people to do videos, either praising their color choices or mocking them. So I thought, well, if we did color of the year, you could just do any color of the year that somebody is calling color of the year. So a Farrow and Ball, I don't know if they do a color of the year. I think they have like color trends, but same difference. I bet Magnolia, the Chip and Joanna, I bet they have a color of the year. Pantone has a color of the year. So if you just want to find a color of the year that you like and go with that, I think I would go with Sherwin-Williams color of the year. I actually think this kind of goes with it. It's almost a reddish brown, and that's what that color of the year makes me think of. So something that coordinates with or looks like the color palette for the color of the year, I'm just going to say that a million times, that might be a fun knit along. And I feel like if you make it a color of the year, I mean, it has to legit be a color of the year with someone, I guess. But that really opens up doors for everyone, because Pantone just has one color of the year. So that's an idea. And then Lori had mentioned Kate Davies' new book. I'll flash it here. I just went blank. I was just looking at it. That she thought that would be a good knit along. I don't know how many people though would have the book or the patterns from it. But it's possible that you could use a pattern from it with something that goes with the color of the year, or a like TV knits type. I'm gonna do the TV knits thing. It's going to happen in 2023, but probably not right out of the box, because a bunch of stuff's gonna be starting at the first of the year for me. Katie also mentioned something that requires minis. And I know there are a lot of people doing knit alongs with minis, but you know, what's minis to you could just be leftovers to everyone else. And so any kind of stash busting KAL is helpful. Like my other blanket that has not made much progress, I made a magic cake with leftovers. Some of them are mini sized, some of them are smaller, and it's producing, you know, really fun stripes. So I mean, we might could do something like that, like a stash busting KAL, or leftovers, or scrap KAL, something like that. I like the idea of scrap KAL, and minis would totally work for that, because these aren't really hard and fast rolls. Anyway, y'all keep telling me what you think about color of the year being not necessarily just Pantone's color of the year, and what you think about a scrap KAL, TV knits, things like that. Ophelia Bells had mentioned in the last episode's comments that I had talked about reading Anne of Green Gables. She had is working on a shawl as a gift for Christmas, and it's based on Anne of Green Gables, called Balsam Hollow, which I never saw. I've never seen that on Ravelry, but I looked it up. It's really pretty with like a leaf design. It's really, really beautiful. That's going to make a nice gift. That is a special, like, heirloom quality gift, Ophelia Bells. Another thing I talked about was Christmas socks. I'm definitely going to be knitting some Christmas socks, even if it's just for me this year. My husband got his Christmas gift early because it was a new, like, mountain bike. His birthday is in December too, so he got both because it was the last one of that year's make, and no one else had that anywhere around here, and it was really a good deal on sale. So anyway, I thought about making him socks to go with his gifts, because he's going to have like less gifts because he got mega bike. I don't know if I will though, because he has big feet, and I just don't think he'll care about my socks. Like, I think I want to be selfish and knit for me for Christmas, because I know I'll wear it and appreciate it. And right now he wears Academy type wool socks, so I just don't think he would ever really appreciate hand knit wool. I just don't. I think he would wear it out really fast, and I think he wouldn't like the way, you know how it is, you slip on a wool sock, a hand knit wool sock usually it's not as easy a slip on as an elastic wool blend that you would buy. So I'm looking at Christmas socks for me this year. And I got this from Nomadic Yarns, Merry Kitschmas. And I really love these colors. It does look like, I don't know, vintage Christmas colors, like my grandmother's vintage ornaments on her tree. And this is, I think Dried Time is the name of it. Yes. I thought it would make really good heels and toes, or heels and cuffs. I'm excited to do that. I think I told you I did some D-stash. I purchased some D-stash sock yarn too. I was looking for the Jinx yarn. Since I did all those socks and I was writing up about them, I thought I should look and see if the Strong Sport is still available on Ravelry. And I did get, I don't have it with me, a Jinx color. I also got, I think this is Knit Night by Nomadic Yarns, and I believe it's in Twisty Sport, which is, I'm going to try. Let me see. I have 2 balls of Nomadic Yarns that I got on D-Stash. Yes, this one is Rhinebeck Sweater Weather from, I think, 2018 maybe? And it's sport weight. So I'm excited to see if this sport has a similar full fabric feel to it as the Jinx, because that's what I really like. So that's what I've got to show you. I'm going to show you my guilloche pullover in the next episode, and I'm going to try to get episodes, I always say this, out more often, but I really have just been cramming to get that exam taken before the end of the year, and then like several hours a day will open up to me. And I'll be able to knit, and I'll be able to do this more. So you guys tell me any more knit along type ideas. I saw some more novelty yarn ideas. Annie Lupton came out with a sweater that's like a fuzzy sleeveless cardigan that would so work with any kind of faux fur, fuzzy type yarn. Not necessarily boucle, but like something fuzzier. I might put on the screen here a few that I know. I think one's called Isabella or something by Bremont. Has a yarn that is like that, and I have it somewhere. Like, that's actually something I wanted to use for a novelty yarn knit along. So y'all keep thinking about it, and think if we did color of the year right at the beginning of the year, would you, or like after Christmas, you know, would you use Pantone's color of the year or a paint company, an interiors company, something like Behr or Benjamin Moore? Would you do that instead? And then what do you think of those colors? Do you like watch design, home decor videos? What do you think of those? How practical are they really? There's a lot of mauve and pink. I'm interested in what you think about that, so let me know. As far as for me lately, there's all the stuff I talked about that I've been trying to cram and get done. We are getting ready to celebrate our son graduating and Christmas. We're going to camping soon, which I'm so excited. I haven't been camping since before I moved, so I am thrilled to do that. We went on a retreat with our church recently, my husband and and I wanted to go, but I've also just been so tired. I haven't gotten enough sleep, I haven't been exercising, or maybe even eating right. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be exhausted when I get back. But I was really energized by it. I think there was some things I feel like God's been telling me, and he just tied up some loose ends right at the beginning of the retreat. And so the rest of the time, I just felt like a sigh of relief. You know, when you're not sure what to do about something, or maybe you wonder if you're hearing right, and then it clicks and you're like, you make your decision, you know what you need to do, and then you can kind of just rest in it, even if it's going to be difficult at times. He's been dealing with me about like low-level fear. Like, I think I've shared before, I had a huge lesson in my life to learn about setting boundaries. From the time I was young, basically like after my mom died on, I often was made responsible for how the people around me felt. Like they treated me as though my job was to please them. If they were cross, I must have made them cross, whatever. And much of my life I spent kind of going along with that. I was really angry about it deep inside. It was a big lesson for me, and as an adult, to start setting boundaries and to say no. So such a hard fought lesson has been really difficult for me as I hear God telling me, loosen those boundaries in certain areas. Relax them. It's time. You're strong enough. You're not in any danger. Take a few steps forward toward these people or this person, and they're not going to be great. They're just not every time, and you can handle it. You're not going to crumble. I've spent a lot of time trying to perfect boundaries, but I think my confidence was misplaced from boundaries I felt like God was guiding me to do to my boundaries. My confidence was in the boundaries and in my ability to protect myself. It's not extreme. It's so quiet and so subtle in my life. I almost feel silly talking about it because I feel like if anyone knew me, they'd be like, what are you talking about? I haven't seen any of this playing out in your life, but I know it's there, and it's a little source of stress for me. I don't know, I just felt really like, okay, I can do this. I'm ready. So that's been nice. That's something different that's been happening. And even though I've been super busy, that was going on under the surface, and I'm really pleased about that. So next time I'll talk about my guilloche pullover, which turned out perfect. I was so worried that it would be too small. Oh, it's perfect. And I'll show you progress on my sweater class sweaters. I've kind of thought about like doing an ask me questions where you ask me stuff. Would you be interested in that? I just don't think enough people see I might have 4 questions. But that's fine, I can talk. I can take 4 questions and make a podcast out of that. So would that be fun to do or nah? Let me know what you think. Bye. This is Ella. Oh, she wants a walk. Don't you know I don't do that anymore? All I do is work. I don't walk anymore. I'm boring. I'm so boring. I love you, big girl. I love you, big girl. Oh, that hurts.